Hey guys, today I got my Easy Press finally, and I'm going to unbox it with you guys as well as do something I've never done before, so hopefully this works out. So let's open up this bad boy. I just got it a couple days ago but have not had time, but we are going to be doing something that I hope works, and it's really kind of like a test, but we're going to do it together. And if it doesn't work out, I'll pop on live again and we'll do iron-on with something else. But I'm taking a risk here. So I've got some old snowflakes from last year that I never used. I just cut out like a bunch of snowflakes that are actually in glitter iron-on. And I've heard that this works, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and hope it works. So I'm gonna cut them out. Let's unbox. Well, you wanna unbox this first? So we're gonna try to iron them onto wood, but we're gonna use our Easy Press because I haven't seen anyone do it yet with an iron and or anything, but I've heard that it can be done. So I'm gonna put this aside for a second while we unbox this. And I think I can read your guys' comments right now. I've got you guys a little bit close, so I can answer any questions, but I can't promise you anything. So I literally have not opened this yet. I know sometimes my unboxings, I open them and then I put them back in and so I can show you guys fresh out of the box, but this one, I haven't opened yet. Okay, so it looks like you open it from the side. Starting off on the, wait, is this how you open it? Yeah, okay. Okay, so it comes with a good old packet, like you do. They got their little Cricut sticker on the back. And I'm guessing this is gonna be all my hoopla on how to use it and ideas. Oh, there's a lot of ideas on it and all your temperature settings and some fun things falling out at me. Look how cute. Oh, look, I could even, let's do this teacup on here too. So this is a glitter iron-on teacup that came with it. Actually, this is probably we'll do this too. I'm gonna iron it onto here. But I think you're supposed to do that because it usually comes with a, like a craft that you start with. Like the maker came with, I think, the same card that the Explorer and the Explorer Air 2 does. So just has different temperature settings and all that, which there's a bunch of these. So this looks like it's the same thing. Oh, this one's in different language. No, yeah, yes, this one's, yeah, this one's all in different language. So 2 different languages. Practice project. Yep, so it looks like we're just gonna be ironing this onto this. So we'll do that together. And I will also try it on the wood. So at least we will have something successful, and then we're also gonna just be crazy and try something crazy with it. And if it doesn't work, it's not because the heat press didn't work, it's because the process doesn't work. And then they send this to you again in another language. And the quick reference chart. So this is what I'm gonna be holding on to during this, because this is what's gonna tell me what I have to have the temperature on for each project. So it looks like iron-on type is foil, light, glitter, and holographic. So for glitter, which we're gonna be doing for both, you set it to 300 and it depends what you're putting it on. So this doesn't have the option to iron it onto wood, so we'll start with this and our little step-by-step on how to do this. I need the one in English, please. So find a hard, flat surface area, protect area with Cricut Easy Press mat. Let's see if that's in here. Because I know that there's been some issues with the mat, right? It's been kind of hard to find it and all that. So did I show you everything that comes with? And then your just kind of overview of the machine, warranty, what it comes with. Look that over so you guys understand your warranties on all of your machines too. Stop, look, protect. For best iron-on transfers, always use a heat-resistant flat surface. So we're using my table that is like, I got from the Goodwill, and I don't care if I ruin it, but I'm also have it protected with fabric. But this table is like I iron on it all the time, so it should work. So then you've got your little things to make it fit, and you've got the iron press, the heat press, which is a big flat iron. It's a cross between an iron and a heat press. And we use this at the event, so you guys got to see us use it there, but now we get to do it on whatever we want to do it on. Okay, so then it comes with this big old industrial plug looking thing, and then it comes with this guy, which is its little cradler that you set it in so that it doesn't burn anything. And this is really nice because if you're like me and you don't have a heat press and you just work with an iron, first of all, the iron like puts heat outward, so it heats up the area, which for us in like 112 degrees can be kind of a lot. And then also when like you have kids and stuff running around, you don't want them to run into the iron. So this is this little protective buddy that it sits in so that the heat stays down and then it also doesn't burn anyone. And I don't know how comfortable I would feel letting my kids use this, but I kind of reference that with every machine. I try to say like, okay, would I let my kids just use that by itself? But my kids are a little bit older, so I just plugged that in. I'm gonna turn it on. So I just hit the on button and then I'm gonna turn it to so this is all ready for glitter iron on. This says set temperature to 340 degrees Fahrenheit. Or 170 Celsius, and timer for 20 seconds. Place teacup onto the fabric, shiny clear liner faces up. We know how to use iron-on, right? If you don't, check out my channel. Apply gentle pressure with the Cricut Easy Press. Press Cricut C to start timer. Remove when beep sounds. Once completely cool, peel off clear liner. That's it. So basically the same thing you'd be doing with an iron, but with this thing. And it should only take 20 seconds. We'll see. Okay, so we're gonna set this to, the buttons are the power button, the temperature has a little temperature thingy mabobber, the clock, which is the timer, and then your up and down, and then your C. Oh, this is like your go button. So it's like the little Cricut button, same, ooh, I feel it heating up. So it's already set to 175. It's just going up. I don't know where it's gonna go to because I haven't set it to anything. So I clicked this and now it's blinking and I'm gonna turn it up to, nope, I'm gonna click it again because I didn't do anything, so it turned off on me, kind of like an oven. I want it to be 340. Okay, so let's see how long it takes to get to 340. It started, as soon as I turned it on, it started heating up. Okay, I got up to 330 and then I went up above that and it said C. Like, okay, so 335. I have it set to 335 and I need to get it to 340. So there we go. I don't know why it was giving me difficulty. Okay, so now it's at 340, but it's still telling me that it's only at 215 degrees. Now it's 220 degrees. So it looks like it grows. It's still 220. It might be cooling down because I had it up a little bit. So now it's 225, 230, 235, so you can see how fast it grows. So it does take a second to warm up, which is fine. It's just like an iron. And we're gonna set the timer for 20 seconds. So you can set the timer, right now it's set for 30 seconds, and then it doesn't go until you hit the little C. So let's put our timer button and it starts blinking and I'm gonna move it down. So it goes down by the actual minute. So I gotta go down 10 notches to get it down to 20 seconds. And then I just leave it and it locks into place. So now I'm gonna put that aside while it's heating up. It's at 290 degrees, 295, 300. Okay, so exciting. All right, so let's start with the actual project so that I don't show you a really bad project and then it doesn't work out and then you're like, oh, it's whatever. I just wanted to get crazy today and I was like, I wanna try this. I've been wanting to try this, so we're gonna try it. And we'll figure out which temperature and everything. This is a piece of wood from our barn door that Dustin made in our, oh, it's ready. Okay, so when it's ready, it goes doo-doo. I think that was the tone it just made. So you look for that and then it's ready to go. Okay, so let's start with the project. So what we need to do is I actually have to stand up for this, I think. So I'm gonna bring this here so you guys can see it. So you just take your little fabric. This feels like it's I wonder if it tells you what it is. I don't think it does. This feels like it's I'm really bad with the type of fabric things are, but I think it's not, it's probably a cotton blend, but it feels, I don't know. It feels a little bit like canvas, but not that thick. Okay, so we're gonna lay it flat on our surface, protected with something, so this can be an ironing board or something hard. Granite countertops are really good, but I would heat up your granite countertop a little bit first. But if that ruins your granite countertop, don't blame me, because I've just done, I've used granite countertops to iron on before, and I haven't had a hard time with it. So you will want the little mat guy that doesn't come with this. So it does not come in the box. So if you guys want to do that, you're going to have to get the mat. And then we're just going to go for it. So I think it stays at 340. And I know you have to stand up a little bit so you can put some pressure on it. Now that I threw the box like completely behind. Okay, so we're going to lift this thing up. We're going to put it right on. I'm going to do it this way so that I can hold it firmly. We're going to put it right on top, and then we're going to press the C and hold firmly. I don't feel like 20 seconds is long enough, but we'll see. Because when I have to iron things on to things, I know you're supposed to heat your mat up before you do this, so maybe I should try heating up the bottom before. I could probably grab some more fabric to do. Okay, so this should be done. So I'm going to let this cool, because that's the rule of thumb with iron-on, is you want to let it cool completely before you peel the plastic off so that it has time to finish. It's kind of like glue. Think about glue. It's like heating up the glue on the inside, and then if you were to pull the glue up while it was still hot, you know, the glue would just kind of make a mess. So same with iron-on. You want to let it cool so that it has time to just kind of like adhere to the fabric, and then you peel the plastic off. But I feel like 20 seconds is so short. That was super fast. Because when I'm ironing, I use my iron, which the biggest thing they talk about on this is it's an even heat. So it was actually heating up like this whole square right here. And it's supposed to be an even pressure, and you put some pressure on it while you do it. Okay, so it's cooled down. Oh my, OM goodness. Guys, it worked. And it's like on there good too. It's not like coming up on the corners like it does with your iron. And then you guys have seen in my tutorials, you know, I'll show you if it's coming up in the corner, just put it back down, iron it over, let it cool down, do it again, make sure, because all those little pieces, I am really impressed. I did not get a chance to really play with this as well as I wanted to at the Make-a-thon just because we had a lot to do, but I'm super impressed. I thought for sure it would take longer. I don't know. I thought it would take longer. Plus, I had Anna do it, and I never really actually got my hands on it in that video, huh? So I'm super impressed. Okay, now let's go for the crazy, and let's try this. I'm going to just keep it at 340 because I don't think, am I crazy for trying this? So this is stained. You can see that it was this color before. It's a brand new piece of wood that we stained for our barn door, and it's just an extra scrap that I had that I'm going to start doing some fun things on all the scraps. But I wanted to see if iron-on would work on it so that I could iron some fun stuff onto wood this year for Christmas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out some of these snowflakes, and I'm just going to position them where I want them on my wood and try to iron them on. So I'm just going to do the 20-second rule at 340 degrees because if it ruins this wood, I'm just worried about it ruining the heat press. But I don't think it should. If it should live up to what it's supposed to do, right? If I've heard that it's supposed to go on wood, I don't think it'll bother it. So I'm going to cut a couple of these out and we'll try. What did I use these for last year? Oh, I had the 30 iron-on ideas for Christmas, huh? So I had snowflake. I just cut out a ton of snowflakes and Christmas tree. I'm going to use those for other things too. Okay, so we're just going to go for it. I feel like I should try to do it in the center, but I want it to actually become a project if I'm going to use it. So I should have had my laptop out here so I could see your guys' comments. Okay, so I'm going to lift it up. I'm going to move this guy out of the way. I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to press the C. I hope that this works and I don't ruin everything. I feel like I'm going to burn the wood. But wood burning isn't the horriblest thing on the earth, right? It's worse to burn like plastic. Okay, so we're at 2 seconds. Okay, let's see what happens. I'm going to let this cool. It looks like... What the heck happened? Looks like something happened. I don't know if you guys can see it. But it has like something... this one right here has like some white around it. Not sure what that is, but we'll figure that out when we pull it off. So I'm going to let this cool down, same concept. it looks like it needed a little bit more heat or more time. Okay, so it actually is the glue getting pressed out of there. So I would almost do less pressure, maybe, more time, less heat, more time, because it actually like squished it down and pushed the glue out from underneath the iron-on. But it definitely worked. Look it. I'm excited. And it didn't burn the wood. It didn't burn the wood at all. So I feel like I was afraid because it stained. Ooh, look at little sap kind of came out of the wood. I don't know if that's from now or from before. But so that's kind of cool. All right, so yes, you want to wash your item before you do any iron-on. I can read through your guys' comments. We can do a live Q&A if you guys want to. Okay, why do you use iron-on instead of regular vinyl? This is my first time trying iron-on. Okay, so first off, iron-on is everyone's favorite because if you guys are regulars to the products, iron-on, when you weed it, it already has plastic on the front. So it's kind of like a built-in transfer tape already on there. So when you weed it, you flip it upside down and then iron it on or heat press it on. And what it's doing is you flip it backwards because you've cut it upside down and then you flip it this way to iron it on. With vinyl, you cut the top of it the way it's supposed to be, then you put transfer tape on top of it to pick it up, and then you move it onto your project. So there's an extra step, a couple extra steps actually. You weed it, then you put the transfer tape on, then you pull it off of the backing paper, then you put it on, then you've got to squeegee it on, and then you've got to pull it off. With iron-on, it's so much faster and easier because you've got one weeding step, flip it over, stick it on, iron it on, pull it off. And everybody who's worked with iron-on and vinyl regularly could probably tell you that iron-on takes not even half, probably like a quarter of the amount of time, depending on how extensive your weeding is. And I want to go over this with my heat press, but I would turn the heat down a little bit because one of the little corners is still popping up. But let's try less heat, more time. So I'm gonna turn it down to, let's see how long it takes to turn down the heat. Turning down the heat. I'm gonna turn it down to 310. Is that much of a difference? 30 degrees. And then, so now it's going down, and it's going down, but it's going down slower than it goes up. That makes sense though, because it's harder to cool things down than it is to heat things up. And then I'm gonna turn the timer up to 25 seconds. And I'm gonna let that get ready to do what it does. I'm gonna read you guys' comments. What do you put underneath when you are doing a shirt or something? Okay, so the mat that you can buy with this is really good because it's made for this, and I'm not sure if it's back in stock yet, but they were having issues with it. I don't know why they were having issues with it, but it's either back ordered or something like that, or an iron or a ironing board. But I like to use my table that I got at the thrift store, which this is like a laminated table, but it's like super durable. It's not wood. I don't know how to explain it. And then I just protect it with a piece of fabric. And I love this table because I've been ironing on this. I got this for $6. I got both of these that I use in my craft room for $6, and they're just these big laminated like particle wood tables that at first I was like, if I ruin them, I don't care, but I just realized they don't get ruined when I iron on them, so they're awesome. You guys are kind of far away, but not super far away. Let's see. Does that machine operate? Okay, did anything get on the press from the stain? That's what I was kind of worried about, but no. And I bet if I pick this up, it'll cool down faster. It's at 314 now, so it's cooling, but no, nothing from the stain got on there. So that is kind of what I was worried about. I was like, am I gonna ruin it because the wood is stained? This has been stained for a couple months. Now, let me tell you, if you're doing vinyl or anything, like we do these with the Creative Sister a lot, if you stain with an oil-based stain and you want to do a vinyl decal on it, or an iron-on decal on it, or a stencil and paint on it, you're gonna have to wait at least 24 hours before you put anything on a stain, on an oil-based stain, because it has to dry. The oil has to fully go into the wood. Otherwise, you're just gonna be picking up oil, or your vinyl is just gonna be sticking to oil, and it's not gonna stick to your project at all. So it did not, because this has been stained for a really long time. But we're gonna try again with this at 310 degrees for 25 seconds, and let's see what happens here. I feel like because this wasn't a flat, because this didn't fill up the entire Easy Press, that my pressure was a little bit more on this side than it was on that side, and maybe I was kind of leaning. So I'm gonna try to keep it even this time, and or just let the machine do the pressure and not so much put my own pressure on it, because the wood's already a hard surface, so it wants to adhere to it. I'm super excited though. I've never done iron-on wood, and I can't believe I started with this project. So I'm just gonna let it do the pressure for this one. I'm not gonna put any pressure on it for 25 seconds at 310, and we're gonna see what happens. So hopefully we don't explode and blow stuff up with the new machine that we just opened. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2, but I am impressed with how much faster this is than the iron. Okay, so I'm gonna let it cool. It did the glue thing again. So just on this side, it did, the little glue came popping out a little bit. And then on the right side, it's not adhered as much. So that's interesting, because it did it on this side too. So I didn't even put any pressure on it. I just let it put its pressure on it. I'm wondering if it's having a chemical reaction with the stain. But I don't think so, because it's literally the glue from the iron-on. And then, so the left side had a little glue, and the right side is not adhered all the way. So pressure mat, it works wonderful, and it's flat and it doesn't get hot. Yeah, so yeah, I think you can buy pressure mats too at the craft store, like the cutting mats, but don't ever iron on your rotary blade mats or your Cricut mats. Not gonna say that I've tried that, but it doesn't work and it'll ruin your mat. So those are not iron or heat press safe. So just be safe. Okay, so actually more time, less temperature did the exact same thing with the wood. So I'm wondering if we should do more time and less pressure again. What do you guys think? Or not less pressure, less temperature. I'm gonna turn it down to like 275. And then the time I'm gonna turn up to 30 seconds. Because it's not ruining my wood, and it's not ruining my press at all. So good for me to figure that out before you guys figure that out, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna look at this guide really quick just to see what things use less. So right now I'm setting it down to 275. Wool felt requires 275, and cotton canvas requires 270. That's interesting. And then jersey mesh 275. Silk 255, which makes sense because silk is a little bit more, and how many seconds? For 20 seconds. So that's interesting that it's the same amount of time but less temperature for silk. And that, but with glitter iron on, 285 at 20 seconds. So silk is a little bit more sensitive, obviously, than other fabrics. So you turn that down to 255 or 275. So that's kind of what we're trying here. I'm trying to turn down the heat. Maybe more heat, less time. Maybe that would work. The glue has nowhere to absorb like it does on fabrics, so it seeps out. I'm thinking maybe that's the issue, because it's not actually eating into the fabric like it would on fabric. That's a great observation. I think that's exactly what it's doing. So what you really want to do is just heat it up enough with not so much pressure so that it just kind of adheres, but not so much that it out. Does that make sense? So we're gonna try less heat, less, well, that's more time, so maybe less time too, less heat, less time. I'm just worried because the right sides seem to not be sticking at all, whereas the left sides seem to be sticking too much. I'm just gonna go for it and put something right smack dab in the middle, and we'll see how it does, because then the pressure will probably be more even because it's not hanging off the side of my wood. And we'll see if that makes a difference. I changed the variables though, because now I'm such a science nerd, but now I've changed the temperature, which is one of the variables, as well as the evenness of this. But we're learning, right? That's all that matters. So what I think I'm gonna do with this once it's done is I will cut something out of red and do something red on top of it. And I didn't mean to start early on Christmas because I know my Halloween videos haven't even been up, but it is what it is. All right, let's read if we can. Maybe if you were doing that on a painted wood. I think that it might even have the same problem because paint is not porous like fabric either, because she made a very good point that the glue, when you're putting it on the fabric, is seeping into the fibers. So when you iron onto something that has no fibers, the glue has nowhere to go except out. So 300 degrees for 40 seconds for wood. 300 degrees for 40 seconds? That seems like it's gonna blow up the universe. Okay, so let's try 275 for 30 seconds, or let's try 40 seconds, because if they're saying 40 at 300, it's not gonna hurt to try 275 for 40 seconds. It does seem like a lot, but we're gonna try it because Cricut says to do it. I'm gonna try it at 275 though, because this was already hot enough, I think. Okay. So it sounds like Cricut has something on their website that says that you can do this. So I'm not crazy. Okay, so this is gonna be 40 seconds. I'm not putting no pressure on it. I'm not putting any pressure on it. That was a double negative, and that meant that I would be putting all pressure on it, and I'm not putting any pressure on it. So then 40 seconds takes a little bit longer. However, it's still not that bad, especially if I don't have to put any pressure on it. Put it over, wait till it beeps, move it. I can do something else for 40 seconds, and it's a time saver because you don't have to sit there and iron like with a regular iron. But I would stay close so that you don't walk away from this thing. So just wait for the beep. Let's see. Okay, so that was 275 for 40 seconds, but it was on the even ground. I mean, it was hanging off a little bit on this side and this side, but it wasn't hanging off on this was kind of teetering over here, and so was this. So that would just be you getting used to, the pressure that you would need to make sure that it gets even on the corner. But there's no glue. There's a teensy tiny bit of glue right there, but not a lot. So that looks pretty promising. I'm gonna let it cool down, and it looks pretty even. It looks like nothing, it has not stuck. So we made the time longer, the temperature lower, but they say 300 at 270 or at 40 seconds. 300 degrees, 40 seconds. And we have a winner. So 275 for 40 seconds. And Cricut says 300 for 40 seconds, but did it say that for glitter iron-on though, or regular iron-on? Because that's what I'm wondering. So, and then also for regular glitter iron-on, you don't have to use a protective barrier in between. So I'm wondering if regular iron-on, you don't have to use a protective barrier either, because I never do. That's why I love glitter iron-on the best, because it's so durable that I don't have to like scrounge around for a piece of fabric to put in between. So there you have it. We did our sample project, which I'm seriously amazed by how fast it was. I'm not even joking right now. And then we did our practice round on wood, and I am super impressed with this as well. I'm really excited for this. So I'll be doing some live wood tutorials probably with you guys for Christmas time, doing stuff like this. And I might do some more if you guys want to see. I've got a dog thing that I need to make for Hunter ready over here, so maybe I'll just use iron-on for that, because I personally love iron-on. Will this work with an iron? Yes. So it does. It should work with an iron, but I can't promise you I know the temperature settings and all of that. So we were just kind of trying to figure out what the temperature setting would be for this specifically. My sweatshirt is from Ross. I got paint on it, and I just bought it. I'm so sad. I got it at Ross for like $13. Okay, digressing. Do you think this works just as well as a heat press? So I have never actually used a heat press, but I have seen one in action, and there's different reasons why I think this is great for everyday crafters versus a heat press. And the heat press is super good if you're like in an industrial setting where you have to crank out a ton of t-shirts or things super fast, and you need to make sure that they're going to stay like really good. So a heat press for that. But this, I've been watching a lot of the YouTubers making things like hats and a little bit less even surfaces, things that you couldn't necessarily put in your heat press and like clamp down and then let it go. So that, and then second, this thing is tiny. It's not huge like a heat press, so first, you can take it anywhere you want to go with it, and then second, you can store it super easy. But price-wise, it's pretty comparable to a heat press. It's not. It's $150, right? But the actual heat presses are like $300, I think. Or, I mean, I'm sure you could get a good deal on them. But I think price-wise, they are pretty comparable. But I would honestly say that I would rather have this in my craft room if I'm just a crafter, or even for what I do, because I don't just want to make t-shirts. I want to make lots of things. I want to make hats. I want to make wood things. You can't put a piece of wood in a heat press. So, I don't think you can. So, and if you did, I feel like it would be a nightmare trying to figure out what you would have to set it on to get it to work. And then, of course, every wood is different, and every, if it's stained or if it's not stained or if it's pallet wood or whatever, I feel like you'd have to change the setting. And you just thought it took us maybe, how long? Not even 20 minutes to figure out the setting for that. So once you have the setting down, then you can just crank away. And then you can keep like a little piece of paper or something, or write it on here, just like write down what you used, and then write down your setting that you used so that you don't forget it, or write it on something else. But keep a reference to whatever you figure out. So let's see if I can answer a couple more. I wonder how it would work on rustic wood that is more rough. Yes, so this is, can you do mugs on an easy press? No, you can't. I don't think I have anything that's not plastic. I wouldn't use plastic, but maybe glass, maybe ceramic. That's a good question, but they're round. So, and I've never ironed anything onto mugs. So I'm not sure about that answer yet. Yes, this is brand new wood that has been stained, so it is very smooth. So rustic wood that has notches like fence board and things like that, I'm not sure if I would go at that with this, because it is so flat. I feel like it would burn the wood, but we could try it eventually in life, but I'm not sure how well it would work. But you're right, because of the ridges, I think that it would be a little iffy for that one. So I think that's it, and hopefully if you guys have more questions, comment, and hopefully you guys can answer each other's questions, and I can try to answer some of them too. I haven't done mugs glass. I could talk to you guys all day. Can you use the coupon code on the Easy Press? I'm not sure. I know maybe not right now because it's so brand new, but eventually I'm sure you will be able to. Have you seen the mat being offered in the Cricut website? And that one I'm not sure about either. So with that, I can't answer any of your guys' questions, so I'm going to get going. I love you guys, and I'm probably going to go live in a little bit again. I have a cool unboxing for you guys, so hang out for a second, and I'll be back soon. Okay, bye guys. I love you.